On day 1, I was walking with my daughter Cassie.
I love you, Daddy.
I love you too, sweetie. I'll always be by your side. Suddenly, Kang the Conqueror appeared before us.
You broke our deal, Max, so now you'll pay the price.
Deal? What deal? The world around us began to change, and new builds appeared out of nowhere. What's going on?
Timelines are already beginning to merge. Now for one more thing.
Just when I thought it couldn't get any worse, Cassie was teleported next to Kang.
Help me!
Good luck finding us in the quantum realm.
I rushed in to save her, but Kang vanished, leaving behind Mysterio in his place.
I don't know how I got here, but an Ant-Man in any timeline is bad news.
Out of my way! I put on my mask and rushed into battle. As Ant-Man, I had the power to shrink to microscopic size. I tried as hard as I could to grow, but I wasn't strong enough yet. Small would have to do for now. I did my best to dodge Mysterio's fire magic, but he was still able to get a few hits on me due to its spreading capabilities. Even so, he was having a hard time hitting me with my small size. I was able to get in close and land powerful melee attacks that started to become too much for him. Thanks to my powers, I was able to take down Mysterio. I have to find the quantum realm, but how? On day 2, I explored the overworld for clues on how to get to the quantum realm. During my travels, I found Spider-Man fighting another Spider-Man. What the? The two Spideys were very skilled fighters and were taking care of this face-to-face with their fists. They both shot webs at each other and tried to evade attacks with their athleticism. Despite their differences in appearance, I could tell they were both evenly matched. The longer the fight continued, I noticed this wasn't going too far, so I rushed in to break up the fight. Alright, break it up!
This spider lady is an imposter.
I don't even know how I got here.
This must be because Kang is merging the timelines.
Oh, wait a sec. Yeah, I've read about this before. If you're serious, then this timeline is about to be visited by all of the craziest superheroes and supervillains the multiverse has ever seen.
Wow, if I was the audience, I would want to watch until the end to see who they all are. With things resolved, I asked if the two of them wanted to join my team.
Sure, I'm Gwen, by the way.
And I'm Miles.
Sweet! I'm Max. On day 3, I started exploring for a place to build my base. I found a good spot and left the two Spideys there while I gathered materials. On the way, I ran into a little ant. Hey, my name's Max. You're so cute.
Thanks.
Whoa, you can understand me?
I guess so.
Well, I guess it's an Ant-Man thing. I wonder if I could build an Ant-Man army one day. The ant and I parted ways, and I started punching some trees for wood and used my new materials to craft a pickaxe. Next, I mined for some stone and used that to make some stone tools. Once I had enough materials, I returned home and got to work on a simple structure. I made sure there were 3 rooms, so each of us had our own and added a crafting bench and furnace. Not a bad start. All of that building had really worked up an appetite, so I went to search for some food. During my travels, I spotted a creeper picking on Doctor Strange. Leave him alone! I sprang into battle and took out the creeper lickety-split. Are you okay?
Foolish little hero. Thanks for saving me. Now, I'll be able to take over the world.
What? At that moment, I realized that this was a Doctor Strange from a different timeline. He attacked me with all of the incredible powers of the sorcerer. He was able to do a variety of magical attacks on me, dwindling my health down from afar. I used my shrinking powers to get in close and slash him down with my stone sword. At my small size, it was hard to hit me, so I was able to evade most of his projectiles. Hey Max Craftians, like the video please? Oh, and watch me slam dunk on this fool. Yeah! It was difficult, but I managed to defeat the Dark Mage. Upon his death, he dropped some food as well as a strange map titled Dr. Pym. Pym. He made my super suit, so maybe he can help me find the quantum realm. With my new lead, I followed the map, unaware of the disaster that awaited me. On days 4 through 7, I arrived at Dr. Pym's laboratory only to find that it was engulfed in flames. What the? I rushed inside the facility to find the Wasp fighting off a group of spider pigs. I quickly charged in to lend her a hand. The spider pigs had us in numbers and trapped us to the ground in their sticky webs. I used my shrinking powers to avoid getting hit by their attacks while landing powerful blows of my own. The Wasp wasn't too bad either. She was an incredibly skilled hero with wings to boot. Between the two of us, we managed to take down every last baddie.
I recognize that tech anywhere. How'd you get my dad's suit?
I kinda stole it.
You what?
It's a long story.
Did you kidnap my father?
No, absolutely not. In a fit of rage, the wasp began attacking me. What the? The two of us duked it out fist to fist. I tried to shrink down and give her the one up, but to my surprise, she was able to shrink too. We had a mini battle of epic proportions. I switched to my stone sword to try and dish out more damage, but she was tougher than the other foes I had faced thus far. We brawled to the best of our abilities, but she was too strong. I was beginning to lose. Ah! Truce! Truce!
I find it hard to believe my dad would have been kidnapped by a wimp like you.
That's what I've been trying to tell you. Your dad wanted me to steal it. It's complicated.
Then where did my dad go?
I don't know, but I'd like to help you find him. On days 8 through 11, the Wasp and I continued to search for Dr. Pym. As we headed deeper into the lab, we discovered a secret trapdoor. Weird. The two of us went down the ladder into the underground. All around us were sprawling tunnels like a maze.
What in the world?
Did your dad build this?
No way. This has to be the work of someone else.
Well, I'm guessing your dad is at the end of it, so let's move. The Wasp and I split up and began to navigate the labyrinth. The place was full of twists and turns and even traps to boot. I better be careful. I misstepped and set off a pressure plate trap. Thankfully, I was able to shrink down and avoid the arrows. Sheesh, who set this up? I continued onwards, taking care not to hit any more pressure plates or tripwires. Finally, I reached the end of the maze to find Dr. Pym. Unfortunately, Nightcrawler also stood waiting. Man, the multiverse is really acting up. Nightcrawler attacked. He was strong and attacked with a flurry of moves to put me in my place. Strength wasn't his only pro. He was also incredibly athletic. He could jump great heights to evade my attacks while using his teleportation abilities to trip me up even further. I used my suit to try and evade his onslaught while bringing on one of my own, but I was beginning to fall behind.
Grow large!
What? I can do that?
Yes, of course. Concentrate, and you should be able to increase in mass and punching power.
I did what he said and was able to grow a little larger than a normal human. It wasn't much, but it was just the advantage I needed to take down the blue mutant. Once that was over, I freed the doctor from his prison. Are you okay, Dr. Pym?
Call me Hank. Thanks to you, I am. Let's get out of here.
On days 12 through 14, I headed back to the base with Dr. Pym and the Wasp. So let me get this straight. Kang put you inside that maze?
Yes, he's got an odd sense of humor and thought no one would be able to solve it.
It honestly wasn't that hard.
He's also arrogant, thinks he's smarter than he is. He's more powerful than we think he is, though, so we need to stop him as soon as we can.
What do you need?
A new lab.
Okay, I'll get right to work. I built a tunnel beneath the base and started carving out a large underground area. After a lot of digging, I finally had a large rectangular room, as well as cobblestone, coal, and iron. This could be useful later. Next, I got to work on populating the lab with new items. I used a variety of different blocks Dr. Pym gave me to fill the place up until it was a functional lab. Finally, I added a small bedroom to the corner for the doctor to sleep. After a lot of work, Pym Labs 2.0 was complete. You like it, Dr. Pym?
It'll do.
Aw, man! On days 15 through 18, I stepped outside to find that the world was warping again. The blocks around me were changing and at a more rapid pace than before. This is insane! Suddenly, a block beneath me transformed into a lava pit. Ah! Before I could fall to my death, the Wasp swooped in and saved me. I wish my suit had wings. The Wasp lowered me back to the ground. Thank you so much.
Don't mention it.
She flew off, and Hank ran outside.
Mercy.
What do we do, Dr. Pym?
We need to get to the quantum realm and stop Kang. But the only way to do that is with a quantum tunnel.
I built you a lab. Can you use that?
Well, to build a quantum tunnel, I'm going to need a lot of brain power. I need the help of other talented scientists like Tony Stark, Bruce Banner, Mr. Fantastic, Dr. Otto Octavius, and more.
Dr. Pym left to return to his lab, and an alternate version of Tony Stark appeared before me. That's convenient. Excuse me, Mr. Stark?
What's that tech you're wearing? I'm gonna take it for myself so I can create the ultimate super weapon.
Uh-oh. The evil Tony attacked me with everything he had. He was able to fly and shoot a powerful beam from his arc reactor. To make me a harder target, I shrank down and began to evade his attacks. He rained satellite missiles from above to throw me off, but I still managed to avoid them and pummel him down up close. After a long battle, I managed to take him down. Okay, I have to make sure I'm not talking to the evil alternate versions. Noted. On day 19, I was getting ready to sleep for the night.
Good night, Dad. I love you.
I love you too, sweetie.
I miss Cassie so much. Hang in there, sweetie. All of us went to bed for the night, when suddenly I had a dream. I was standing in a mysterious realm that was shrouded in fog. There were strange colored blocks floating all around me. Where am I? And why is it so familiar? Just then, I spotted Cassie running through the mist. Cassie, come back! I tailed behind her, trying to catch up, but she was always just a bit ahead. Eventually, she turned a corner and vanished, leaving only Kang in her place. You give me back my daughter!
Remember our deal, Max?
Suddenly, I woke up in a cold sweat. Was that the quantum realm? But I've never been there. Why do I recognize it? On days 20 through 24, Dr. Pym told me to seek out the first scientists on my mission. Time to look for Mr. Fantastic. I traveled far and wide, eventually coming into a desert. As I traveled, the TVA teleported in front of me. Whoa! Who are you?
You're violating the sacred timeline. Come with me, sir.
Sacred timeline? I think you're looking for Kang the Conqueror, not me.
Are you Ant-Man?
Yeah?
Then you're coming with us.
I have more important things to do. I began to walk away when they suddenly shouted.
He's resisting! Take him down!
Huh? They hit me on the head and everything went dark. On days 25 through 29, I woke up trapped inside the TVA. Where am I? This place is whack! Just then, I realized my suit was missing. There was no way to escape. Before I could call for help, a strange man walked into the room. You have to let me go. The fate of the entire multiverse is at stake.
Something's been off at the TVA for a while. Okay, I'll help you. You have to find a suit and escape yourself.
You got a deal. My name's Max, by the way.
I'm Mobius. Good luck.
Mobius let me go and I went on my way. I began to sneak around the TVA to look for a way to escape. I went through hall after hall, but the place was never ending. Come out, wherever you are, suit! Just then, I spotted a TVA employee wearing my suit. Whee! Hey, that's mine! Ah, much better. I pressed on until I found another TVA agent with a strange remote. Hey, I think that's how they travel the multiverse. I grew big and charged in to claim the remote for myself. We started whacking each other with our swords, but his hits were too strong for me. I shrank down small so he couldn't hit me and kept on swinging my sword. Eventually, I started wearing him down and grew big again to finish him off. With one final blow, the agent went down and I got the remote. Here goes nothing. I used the remote and teleported away. On days 30 through 33, I was teleported back to the base. Wow, what are the odds?
0.0005. You got beyond lucky, Max.
I turned around and spotted Mobius. I can't thank you enough. How can I repay you for getting me out of there?
Let me stay here. The TVA is bad news. I want to save the multiverse, but not their way.
You got a deal. I got to work on a room for Mobius, making sure it had a bit of TVA charm to make him feel at home. Next, I expanded the base more in general so there was plenty of space for any future recruits. Once the base was well expanded, I decided to go hunting for some more food. On my way out, I almost fell into the lava pit. Whoa, this is still here? I gotta fill it in. I filled in the lava hole, and then went out to kill some sheep and pigs for their meat and wool. Afterwards, I cooked the mutton and pork chops and placed them into a chest. Looks like we don't have to worry about food for now. It was time to continue my search for heroes, but Hank ran into the doorway.
I'm getting crazy seismic readings.
On days 34 through 37, Hank and I spotted a dimension portal opening up nearby.
We're colliding with another dimension. Be very cautious. Who knows what's on the other side?
Just then, Dr. Doom appeared in front of the portal. He looked a bit different though. Dr. Doom?
You must be the fool altering my dimension. Prepare to die.
No, it's not me! Before I could contest, Dr. Doom attacked me. He shot at me with some crazy magical attack that did a ton of damage. I did my best to get in close and attack with my sword, but I knew at this rate I'd lose too much health. I shrunk down to avoid his magical blasts and continued my onslaught. Dr. Doom didn't let up and continued to shoot his powerful attacks at me. Looks like I have to bring out the big guns. I grew a bit bigger and went in with more power than before. I slashed and slashed with my sword until it was on the verge of breaking. I fought as hard as I could, but it was no use. He was too powerful. Please, I'm not the one responsible for this. When I thought I was finished, Mobius arrived.
TVA agent here. Everything he said is true.
Mobius explained the entire situation to Dr. Doom and told him the real villain here was Kang.
Really? I'm the good guy in my universe, and you're the bad guy.
Me?
I'll help you, but only if you can go to my dimension and gather my equipment. But be warned, many people will see you as a threat there.
Don't worry, I got this.
Very well. It's just through that portal. Oh, and take this. You're gonna need it.
Dr. Doom tossed over a molten sword. Sweet! I won't let you down. I hopped through and braced myself for what was coming next. On days 38 through 41, I spotted Dr. Doom's lab on the other side of the portal. Perfect! This'll be easy peasy. As I was about to enter the lab, I was stopped by the Fantastic Four.
Didn't we tell you to stop coming around Victor's lab, Scott?
Scott? My name's Max. Wait, Ant-Man is evil in this dimension.
Real funny, Scott. Hey Ben, you want to crack at the Ant-Man this time?
It would be my pleasure.
Uh-oh. The other heroes left, leaving me alone with the Thing. The Thing roared and sent chunks of sand flying at me as he pounded the ground with his fists. I dodged, but the shrapnel still managed to get a few hits in. I figured it was a good time to try out the new molten sword Dr. Doom gave me. I hit the Thing with it and it caught him on fire. Whoa, that's sweet! The fire didn't stop the Thing though, and he continued his attack. I tried to fight back, but I didn't want to kill a hero. He then jumped into the air and landed with a heavy thud, hitting me with a strong shockwave. I decided to shrink myself, causing the Thing to become confused as he had a hard time seeing me. I used the advantage to get some better hits on him with my sword as he attacked the air where he thought I was. He started to weaken and I grew again, still dodging his hits. You got the wrong guy! Suddenly, the evil Ant-Man made his appearance.
There are two of you? Don't lump me with that goody-goody. I'm pure evil.
See? He said it himself! Help me take him down!
Let's do it!
Evil Ant-Man flew down and we began to fight him. I slashed at him with my sword and he used his armored fist to fight back. The Thing hit him as well, but Evil Ant-Man managed to dodge and continued hitting us both. The Thing tried to help, but he was too weak from our previous battle. He was forced to retreat, leaving me alone with Evil Ant-Man.
Let's have some fun.
Yeah, why not? Evil Ant-Man and I shrunk down and continued our brawl. We sped around each other, making our hits more difficult to land. Luckily for me, my molten sword had better reach, even with our speed. We grew again and he tried to block as I swung at him. The flames from my sword broke through his defenses and I caught him off guard. With one final blow, I managed to take down the evil Ant-Man. I went ahead and took his suit, which gave me a flight upgrade and 3 more hearts. Time to get that equipment. On days 42 through 45, I headed into the lab. Finally! Time to get moving! I gathered all the equipment Dr. Doom would need. As I was about to leave, Mr. Fantastic walked inside. You're not gonna kill me, are you?
The Thing told me everything. I'll help with this multiversal problem too.
Cool! Follow me! I returned to the base with Mr. Fantastic and gave Dr. Doom his materials.
We'll get to work right away. Come back in a bit.
While they worked, I decided it was time to expand the base some more. I used the wool I had to make sure each room was color coordinated for their respective hero.
Sunflower's a nice touch.
I figured you'd like it. I also worked on a garden outside the base so all of my lovely ant friends could enjoy too. Afterwards, I went mining where I gathered plenty of iron and coal. I went home and smelted the iron into ingots and crafted myself some iron tools. Better late than never. Once I was finished, I returned to the lab to find that the quantum tunnel was halfway done. It's looking good, guys. We're halfway there to saving my daughter and the whole multiverse.
I am afraid that's all the help we can offer. We will be returning to our timeline. Good luck.
The two scientists prepared to leave, and I decided it was time to get some rest. On day 46, I was having another dream of the quantum realm. I'm here again? Just like before, Cassie emerged behind me sobbing.
Why did you put me in danger, Daddy? Why did you make a deal with Kang?
I don't remember! Why did I make a deal? Suddenly, I was transported back inside of my old home. There were lights flashing and cops standing outside my window.
Open up, convict. It's over.
No, please! I have to stay here with my daughter. Out of nowhere, Kang appeared.
I can help you now. I can clear you of your past.
What do I have to do?
All you have to do is offer me your loyalty.
Done! With our agreement made, the lights returned to normal and the cop vanished along with Kang. Is it over?
Daddy!
Cassie ran through the door happily to me. Everything was okay. Just then, I woke up. I made a deal with Kang to clear my criminal history? But why did I break it? Before I had time to think, Mobius ran into the room.
Come quick, there's 2 green monsters fighting nearby.
That must be Bruce Banner in another version of the Hulk. I gotta go. On days 47 through 50, I traveled to find the Hulks Mobius had told me about. With my new wings, it would be a piece of cake. Woohoo! This suit rocks! I spotted the two in the distance, but they weren't fighting. Oddly enough, they were actually arguing with each other.
Hulk not fat. Hulk big boned. Smart Hulk fat.
The normal Hulk looked infuriated and began attacking Smart Hulk. With 2 Hulks in the area, someone was definitely going to get hurt. I rushed in to stop the situation from getting any worse. Hey big guy, you better chill out, or else.
Hulk smash!
Alright, I warned ya. I immediately shrunk down and began wailing on him. It was easy to evade his punches with my small size. The Hulk blindly tried to attack me, but he was only wearing himself out. Bzzz, you can't catch me! Gradually, his attacks became slower and eventually he tired himself out. Looks like I won this fight. The Hulk finally reverted back to his human self. I know this is kinda sudden, but would you be up for helping me with the quantum tunnel? They both looked at me and agreed, so I tossed them a map to the base. Suddenly, the wasp flew up to me.
There you are. I've been looking all over for you. It's time for you to start training.
On days 51 through 53, I was taken to a training area with the wasp.
To see where you're at, you're going to fight me. Give it all you got.
We started fighting right away. I slashed her with my sword and she punched and dodged. I set her on fire and she rolled to try and put out the flames. After a little bit of punching and slashing, I took to the skies and she followed. We flew around each other, and I got several good hits in as I flew past. After we landed, I grew and knocked her down even more. I thought for sure that I would win with my growing ability. However, despite all of my efforts, the wasp suddenly grew giant and put me in my place. I knew you could grow, but you can grow that big?
Yep, I'll show you how.
For the first lesson, the wasp had me take to the skies and fly through an aerial obstacle course. I dodged and weaved, doing my best to make it through each hoop. Next, I was put over a pit of boiling lava and told to jump from platform to platform. I did my best to clear each jump, being careful not to slip. Finally, it was time for the third lesson, shrinking and growing.
You're going to shrink and grow repeatedly to build some stamina. This is just what you need to grow big.
If you say so. I grew and shrank repeatedly, trying my best to build as much stamina as possible. Almost there! Suddenly, my suit malfunctioned and I wasn't able to grow. Ah! I'm stuck small!
Whoops! Stay there, I'll get some help.
The wasp flew off, leaving me all alone. I better stay put. I'm really vulnerable. Just then, a tarantula hawk emerged out of nowhere. Uh-oh. Ah! I took off running as the tarantula hawk chased me as fast as it could. I eventually shook it off when a horrible feeling of dread came over me. Am I lost? On days 54 through 57, I was lost as a tiny Ant-Man. I tried everything to find a way home, but with my suit on the fritz, using my wings was impossible. What am I gonna do? Just then, an ant walked up to me.
Please, you have to help. Our colony is being terrorized by spiders.
Take me there. The ant took me inside of an anthill, and sure enough, it was crawling with spiders. Time to get to work. I slashed my way through the hordes of bugs until finally reaching the center of the anthill. There, the queen spider stood waiting.
Well, 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 looks like my meal has arrived.
More like your worst nightmare. The spider rushed in at me with great speed. Thanks to her 8 legs, she was able to quickly evade my attacks. All the while, she shot webs at me from afar to try and overwhelm me. I had to calculate each move carefully if I wanted to land a hit. I managed to slice her down with my molten sword, dealing burn damage each chance I got. Little by little, I took her health down, and things were starting to go in my favor. With one more blow, the Spider Queen was slain once and for all.
He did it! All hail the new queen!
Actually, I'm a boy.
All hail Queen Max!
Queen Max?
I turned around and realized the wasp had shrunken down to look for me. I think it's time to go. The two of us left the colony, and the wasp quickly repaired my suit.
Try to grow giant now.
Here goes nothing. I harnessed all of my training and grew bigger than I ever had before. Wow, that training really worked. Before I could celebrate, Miles ran over in a panic.
A strange city just appeared. Come quick.
On days 58 through 60, Miles and I arrived at the city.
Be careful going inside.
What do you mean? There's nothing to worry about. I took a step in and suddenly everything turned black and white. What the heck? I felt uneasy, but I pressed on deeper into the city. I didn't know where I was headed, but I was about to face something unlike anything I had faced before. As I was walking, clouds formed above me. I looked up and spotted him. On top of the buildings was none other than Spider-Man Noir.
Looks like we have a trespasser.
He jumped down from above and began to attack me. I pulled out my sword and readied myself. Spider-Man Noir came at me and started throwing punches. I managed to block him just in time. He stepped back and started shooting webs at me, freezing me in place. I did my best to struggle out of the webs and then flew up before he could pin me down again. He grappled up the side of the building with his web shooting and I followed him up to the top. We continued fighting on the building. I shrank down and buzzed around him. He couldn't keep up with me and was punching and shooting webs at the sky in vain. He jumped to another building while still trying to spot me and I got in several hits with my sword. He was persistent and kept punching me despite being caught on fire. It was difficult, but I managed to take the hero down. What was that for?
I'm defending this place from anyone who comes here. They could be working for Dr. Octavius.
He's here? Out of nowhere, Doc Ock made his appearance. On days 61 through 63, I was face to face with Doc Ock. This is perfect! I need your help to make the quantum tunnel.
Why would I help a goody-goody like you?
Great. This one is evil. The Doc jumped into his mech and had a battle of epic proportions. Spider-Man was too wounded to help me in battle, so I was on my own. He shot at me with grenades and I avoided him the best I could, but I was on top of a narrow bridge. He pushed me down the bridge until I was forced down onto the ground. He was too powerful, and I couldn't hang on for much longer when suddenly I heard a voice.
For the Queen!
Huzzah!
My ant army swarmed the city and went after Doc Ock with everything they had. They ran into the doctor, cornering him next to a building. They may have been small, but they were mighty. Doc Ock and his mech didn't stand a chance against the swarm of pincers.
Ah! I surrender, I surrender.
With my new allies, we were able to take down the vicious scientist.
Please spare me.
If you help me take down Kang, then I'll consider it.
Wait, did you say Kang? I hate you, but in my timeline, we hate Kang the Conqueror even more. You got yourself a deal.
Just then, Spider-Man Noir walked up.
Thanks for the help. I'd love to join your cause.
The more the merrier. On days 64 through 67, I returned home with Spider-Man Noir and Doc Ock.
There's another one? How many Spider-Man are there?
I know, right? One is enough of a nightmare.
Doc Ock left to help out Dr. Pym, so I decided it was time to make room for the newest member of the team. I built Spider-Man Noir his own room, taking extra care to use black, gray, and white blocks so he felt more at home. Next, I got to work on a proper anthill for my ant army to come and go as they pleased. Things have been much more lively around here. With my expansion complete, I returned to Dr. Pym to see how things were going. Thanks to all the help he's gotten, the quantum tunnel was even further along. I got you another scientist. Do you think this will be finished soon?
Yes, but I still need some more manpower.
Suddenly, the machines in the lab began to beep wildly. What's happening? I rushed outside to find the world was shifting again. Blocks were changing rapidly until they suddenly stopped. Is it over? Just then, a massive robot fell from the sky.
Eliminate!
I charged and set it ablaze with my sword. It retaliated with a shockwave. I flew up and dodged as it shot down beams from the sky. I darted around and avoided the blast to the best of my ability. Getting a good hit was difficult with the robot's ranged attacks, so I grew to my larger size. Now, I could strike it much easier and stomp through its shockwaves. The robot kept trying to shoot me, but I managed to fly past the lasers and hit it again and again. With one final blow, the robot was defeated. Upon its death, it dropped a map titled The Professor and a Firefly weapon that shot projectiles. Could this lead to Professor X? I have to find out. On days 68 through 70, I knew the journey ahead would be rough, so I decided to get some shut-eye before leaving. I fell into another dream where I was once again in the mysterious quantum realm. This again? I looked around and spotted a doorway I had never seen before. What's through there? Before I could walk through, another version of me walked by. What the? Where does he think he's going? I left the door for now and followed my clone until he arrived at a clearing where Kang was. I could tell this was a vision from my past. I hid and spied on them while they talked.
You remember our little deal, don't you? You promised your loyalty.
Of course I do, but this is too far.
It doesn't matter what you think. You cannot tell the other heroes of my plans.
If I don't, then you'll merge all the timelines and tear apart reality as we know it.
What about your precious Cassie?
She won't have a world to live in anymore.
You'll regret the day you broke my trust, Max.
Suddenly, I woke up from my slumber. I broke the promise to save the world? I guess Kang acted before I could tell the others. I have to get to the quantum realm and fix things as soon as I can. On days 71 through 74, I set out to find the location on the map. When I arrived at the location, it seemed like nothing was there. Was this all a joke?
I'm afraid not.
Ah! Who said that?
I'm Professor X. I I'm speaking to you through your mind. I was trapped underground.
Then I better get digging. I started to dig down, and to my surprise, discovered a trapdoor. Bingo! I headed to the door and entered an underground facility. There, Professor X was being kept inside of a high-tech prison. I'm coming! Just then, Wolverine jumped down in front of me.
Not on my watch.
Let me guess, you're an evil variant of Wolverine from another timeline.
Yep.
The villain charged at me with everything he had. With his insanely sharp claws, he sliced and diced me down in size. He would take out chunks of my health with almost every hit. I thought this fight was almost impossible to win. I used my molten sword to catch him on fire whenever I could, but he just kept on coming. I took to the skies and shot my firefly projectiles in his direction, but even that wasn't enough. Eventually, he cornered me and attacked with a devastating blow. I can't lose! Not here! Suddenly, I grew giant and attacked Wolverine with a second wave.
I didn't sign up for this.
The evil Wolverine ran for his life, and he realized he was clearly outmatched. With my towering size, I chased after him as he cowardly retreated. After a difficult battle, I managed to defeat Wolverine. Woohoo! I shrink back to normal and freed Professor X from his prison.
Thank you for saving me. How can I return the favor?
Can you build a quantum tunnel?
You've got it.
On days 75 through 78, I arrived back at the base with Professor X and introduced him to Dr. Pym.
Thank you for everything, Max. We'll start working right away.
While they worked on the quantum tunnel, I decided to start making small improvements to the base. I started by changing around some of the blocks for the main structure so that it really screamed Ant-Man. Next, I improved my own room for a change, making it also coordinate to my hero identity. Once I was done building, I went mining, and to my luck, found diamond. Score! I used my new materials to upgrade my suit with some diamond boots. Finally, with my task complete, I headed back to the lab to check on the scientists. Are things almost done?
Yes, but I'm missing one more part, and only Tony Stark would have it.
Then I know my next mission. On days 79 through 81, I flew through the sky in search of Tony Stark. Where do you find a billionaire? As I searched, I spotted a puppy stuck on a roof in the middle of a lake. Oh no! I rushed down and used the materials at my disposal to build a bridge across the water. Once I was finished, the puppy ran over to the other side. Oh, you're so cute! I'm gonna call you Noodles. Suddenly, the blocks around me began to shift again. To my horror, the puppy transformed into Fenrir, the massive demon dog. Nice Noodles? Noodles shot at me with flaming sparks. I retaliated with my molten sword, but he was resistant to its flames. He had some crazy chain power that wrapped me in chains, and I tried to avoid them. Unfortunately, I kept getting hurt by the magma blocks all around us as I dodged. I flew up to get away and decided I needed a better advantage. I shrank down and flew back into battle. My size made his attacks much less effective. I could get much closer to him now and slashed at him like crazy. It was a difficult battle, but I managed to overcome the mutt. R.I.P. Noodles. Just then, clouds began to gather in the sky. Oh great, what now? Lightning struck down from the heavens, and Thor appeared before me.
Hello, tiny man.
Thor? Oh my gosh, I'm a huge fan.
Hold your applause, mortal. I am actually here to thank you for defeating the horrible Fenrir.
It's not a problem. Actually, you're an Avenger. Do you know where I can find Tony?
I think I actually saw him on a mountain just east of here.
Then that's my next stop. I took the skies and headed east in search of the mountain. After flying for a while, I finally spotted it and landed at its peak. This is very tranquil. Huh, that's not the Tony from my universe. Excuse me. Before I could reach him, a grizzly bear jumped out of the bushes and attacked me. I won't let you hurt Tony! I hit the bear with my sword and it angrily turned its attention to me. It had a powerful bite, so I had to keep jumping away as I fought back. At one point, it even nearly knocked me off of the mountain peak. I was thankful for my awesome wings. After some struggle, I managed to defeat the bear. Woohoo! Did you see that? I turned and noticed that Tony was still meditating. Hello? Are you dead? Despite my efforts, Tony was too deep in his meditation. I waited for him to wake up for what felt like hours until I fell asleep. On days 86 through 89, I was woken up by Tony.
Boo!
Ah! Tony! I need your help!
I'm not actually the Tony you know, though. From my timeline, I'm the Sorcerer Supreme.
Could you still help me?
I'm not going to cut my vacation short. Besides, you're not mindful enough.
Can you make me more mindful?
Ugh, fine.
With his incredible magic, Tony teleported me and himself into a different universe. Whoa!
Now, watch carefully.
He began to cast incredible magic unlike anything I had seen before. He wasn't lying. He really was the Sorcerer Supreme.
Now you try.
I did my best to mimic his techniques, but nothing seemed to work.
No. Think about what you're doing.
Think. Okay. I focused harder than before, but instead of performing magic, I grew giant. I even managed to gain 7 more hearts.
Well, that works too.
Tony returned us to the real world, and I returned to my normal size. Now that I'm mindful, you want to team up?
Sure, but let's be quick about it.
Tony tossed over a new set of armor. I put it on, and it increased my resistance. Wow, thanks! On days 90 through 92, I returned home with Sorcerer Tony and brought him to Dr. Pym. Hey Pym, look who I found! He gave him the final piece we needed, an arc reactor to power the machine.
Max, I need to warn you about the quantum realm. It's a world where time and space don't make sense how you understand them.
Yeah, I've been there in my dreams a couple of times, but it just felt like normal dream stuff.
Well, the experience is totally different in person. You'll need something to help you with your sanity.
He handed me an amulet that would filter my perception of the realm.
Don't take that off, or you'll totally lose your mind. Alright, now back to my vacation.
With that, Tony left and Pym and I resumed our conversation.
Just give me a little more time, and the tunnel will be completed.
Awesome! While I waited, I finished expanding my base and put some finishing touches around. With my base finished, I did some final preparations for the journey ahead and returned to Dr. Pym. The quantum tunnel was completed and ready to use. Okay, I'm ready. The wasp came to send me off, and I said my final goodbyes.
Good luck out there. We're all rooting for you.
Here goes nothing. With that, I entered the portal and traveled into the quantum realm. On days 93 through 95, I came through on the other side, and I was in the quantum realm. Whoa. This place is even crazier in person. It was so much brighter than in my dreams, and I could see so much further. It seemed to go on indefinitely in every direction. Now, where is that evil monster Kang? I traveled around for a long time, but I couldn't find him anywhere. It was nothing but chunks of colorful energy in every direction. I can't give up. I had to keep going. For Cassie. Eventually, I came across some sort of doorway. Looks familiar. I cautiously entered, and I ended up in a space that looked totally different. This is weird. Suddenly, a strange floating headman descended from above.
Well. I see you have entered my realm.
Who are you?
It is I, MODOK, the supervillain you came here to defeat, but you will never stop me.
I actually came here for Kang the Conqueror.
Well, in any case, I will destroy you, Ant-Man. You will never reach Kang the Conqueror.
Over my dead body! I charged in to fight him, but he used his psychic powers on me and I started to lose consciousness. No, Cassie! Before I knew it, I was asleep. On days 96 through 98, I was sent into a nightmare. I was standing in a dark void, with MODOK floating across from me. Where did you take me?
Into the world of my wonderful mind. Here in the dream world, you're all mine.
I'd like to see you try and defeat me. Iron Man just taught me how to control my spirit. As I said that, I pulled out an awesome spirit sword that I manifested with my mind. Whoa, awesome!
You call that manifesting?
In response, MODOK transformed into a huge, horrible monster. We charged at each other and began to fight. I realized that my wings were gone, so I had no choice but to fight from the ground. He started by giving me blindness, making it harder to see around me. But that wasn't enough to stop me. I used my fist to knock him back. He began summoning lightning around me. I did my best to evade the strikes, but it became harder to dodge. I pulled out my spirit sword to deal more damage, but it just wasn't cutting it. He was way too strong. I couldn't beat him. Just then, I remembered what Tony had taught me and began to focus on honing my spiritual energy. After a few moments, I began to grow huge. With one stomp of my huge foot, I stepped on MODOK and woke up. After waking up, I realized I had grown huge in the quantum realm too.
Please, don't hurt me. I'll do anything. Here, I have a map to find Kang the Conqueror.
I shrank back to normal size, and he tossed me a map. I looked at it, and it was super confusing, but I had a feeling it would lead me to the right direction anyway. Thanks. I decided to spare him, and set off to find the fortress where I knew Kang was waiting for me. On day 99, I traveled through another door and ended up back in the chaotic quantum space. I traveled around some more, following this crazy, confusing map. I have no idea what this thing says, but I feel like it's this way. After wandering for a while, I found another door. How many doors am I gonna find? This has to be it. Upon entering, it led me to a whole new region. There it is! Somehow, Kang's fortress was standing right in front of me. Inside, I spotted a portal that led to where Kang was hiding. I tried to enter the fortress, but suddenly Thor appeared. Uh-oh. You're not evil, Thor, are you?
Oh, yeah. I'm super evil.
Dang it! How did you even get here?
Do not worry about such trivial things.
Please, let me through. I'm just trying to save my daughter. Not to mention the fate of the universe is at stake.
Nope. Not gonna happen.
Fine! I charged at evil Thor, and soon we were locked in battle. I used my wings to take our battle to the skies. Thor used his hammer to follow behind me. Luckily, I was fast enough to avoid lightning strikes. I used my firefly weapon to shoot projectiles that homed in on his location. I couldn't keep flying forever, so I brought the fight back to the ground. I was running circles around him and getting punches in here and there, but he eventually started reading my moves and released an onslaught of attacks. Thor was destroying me. Just when I thought all hope was lost, I remembered my ant army. I called upon them, and somehow they made it into the quantum realm. It worked! They all stormed evil Thor, and while he was distracted, I ran into the fortress and through the portal. On day 100, I arrived on the other side, and there he was, with Cassie right beside him. Cassie!
Daddy!
Aw, what a touching reunion.
Let her go, you monster!
You should have never betrayed me, Max. This is your punishment. This is what you deserve.
Kang put on his helmet and grew much larger. I'm not scared of you. I'm saving my daughter and the timelines. I took out my wings and charged in to fight him. He retaliated with his laser weapons. Kang was incredibly strong and fired a flurry of fire attacks at me. I used my molten sword to get him ablaze whenever I could get the chance. Unfortunately, even burn damage wasn't enough to take him down. I took to the skies and shot at him with my firefly weapon and even shrank down small to try and catch him off guard. Kang was always one step ahead though, and even had an ice attack that protected him whenever I got too close. Looks like I'll have to fight fire with fire. I grew giant to match his size and charged in. We started fighting hand to hand, and he was a master of martial arts. I was starting to get the upper hand and wear him down, but then he came at me quick, and before I could react, he destroyed the amulet around my neck. Oh no! I need that!
I knew your weak mind couldn't handle the effects of the quantum realm.
Without the amulet, my vision started to warp. The effects of the quantum realm were driving me crazy. Cassie! I knew I couldn't give up, and just as I was about to lose consciousness, I remembered Tony's teachings again. Okay, I just need to focus my spirit. As I focused, everything went calm, and I regained some control of my mind. It's working! I dealt a huge final blow, and Kang the Conqueror was, conquered! Yes, I did it! Cassie, we're going home!